Oh, Miranda, while I was at the beach with my family, I remembered the alpha werewolf and his virgin bride. And I didn't remember that it wasn't the kind of video I'd want to show my entire family. I just was like, that was funny. And then I started showing it and I was like, people were like, ooh. And I was like, yeah. And then I just didn't feel
sorry,
it.
I forgot they make out at this. Oh, sorry, I forgot there was a dick joke.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. He's like, don't be a fucking bitch, Naomi.
Yeah, it's definitely not safe for work.
In 1996, Scholastic began publishing Animorphs. Over the next 6 years, Catherine Applegate and her husband, Michael Grant, under the pseudonym K.A. Applegate, produced 54 main series books, several spin-offs, and inspired a TV series, graphic novels, and a cult following. We can't tell you where we live. We can't even tell you our last names. But we can tell you our thoughts and feelings on this series, book by book. I'm Miranda.
I'm Eddie.
And I'm Chris.
And we are... The Anidorks.
These may be kids' books, but we discuss dark themes and mature content. There may also be some explicit language. Listener discretion is advised.
I built our recap into my summary so that we don't have
that's
to do
exciting.
It. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
We had 15 minutes, so I
summary.
felt like I drawn out a little bit. So
We had
Nice,
15 minutes as
nice.
though Eddie didn't make that decision.
It takes roughly 15 minutes to read. Here we go. Okay. Whole 15 minutes. It's going to be Eddie. All right.
Chapter 21. Aldrea and Dak have just stumbled upon the hidden city of
I'm sorry,
the Arn.
who's Aldrea?
I'll get to it.
I remember Dak, but I don't remember Aldrea.
Aldrea and Dak have just stumbled upon the hidden city of the Arn.
Oh, like Dak.
A highly
Dak
advanced
Shepard. Got it.
civilization that has seemingly been hiding below the blue mist of the Hork-Bajir planet. One Arn
Like from Punk'd.
One Arn in particular, named Quatzhinnikon, or Quatzi, has approached Aldrea and Dak, asking them to leave.
Oh, I remember.
Quatzi claims that they are threatening the balance just by being here, claiming that
Balance be cursed.
Aldrea and Dak will ruin everything. Aldrea intimidates Quatzi into revealing who the Arn are
Why do you read like that?
and why they have
wrong?
chosen to live in secrecy far from the Hork-Bajir. He leads them to a secret room within the bedrock. Quatzi explains that 12,000 years ago, this planet was orbited by an unstable asteroid. Knowing that the asteroid would inevitably collide with their planet, the Arn attempted to flee, but only made it as far as an uninhabitable moon. There, Quatzi and a few thousand other Arn froze themselves in stasis. Upon waking, Upon waking, Quatzi and the others discovered that their fears were confirmed. Chris just turned the document off of dark mode.
Yeah, that was...
Wake up, sheeple!
The asteroid had crashed into their planet, creating an enormous gash around the equator of the planet. The atmosphere
Whoa,
was
be
forever
careful with that
changed,
word. Jesus
and no
Christ.
survivors remained. Quatzi and the others were the last.
Everyone was dead.
Quatzi and the others were the last of the Arn. Popcorn quicks.
Quatzi and the others decide that in order to rebuild, they need to not just fix the atmosphere, but control it. Aldrea interrupts Quatzi's story, saying that she can already see where this story is going. I don't need to hear the end of the story, she says. And she says, the trees. And then Quatzi says, yeah, you got it. It's the trees. We did the trees. The trees, different species, each subtly different in its use of carbon dioxide and its production of oxygen. The perfect balance be damned. The perfect mix. That's what we needed. We just needed a little bit more snare on the record. But they would require constant care, those trees of ours. And we were not willing to become a race of tree herders. This is Quatzi's words, not mine. So the Arn created a species of tree herders perfectly adapted for caring for the trees and preserving them. We called them Chris. And Chris spent the rest of their days tending to the tree. Yes, Dak, Aldrea says, this is your creator, the creator of Chris, the Arn. Dak seems surprised. Eddie is so pissed, Aldrea observes, but not impressed.
This is why I gave us
Popcorn
15 minutes. It's
Miranda.
fine.
Aldrea asks Quatzi why the Arn made the monsters that guard the blue mist. To which he answers, why, to keep the Hork-Bajir separate from us, of course. The Arn designed the Hork-Bajir to be intellectually inferior to them. There was no reason for the Hork-Bajir and the Arn to ever interact. Aldrea is furious. Dak is calm. You need us, he says. Without help, he points out, the Hork-Bajir will die. And then who will care for those trees? Quatzi says that the Arn have no weapons. He gives a little shrug. What can they do? The Arn control the monsters of the blue mist, Dak points out. Use those monsters to fight the Yeerks. Popcorn Eddie.
Suddenly, Quatzi understands something about Dak. He's one of those smart Hork-Bajir, isn't he? One of those seers. No matter how hard the Arn tried, they could never eradicate that one bundle of genes. 1 in every 10,000 Hork-Bajir is born with intelligence that rivals the Arn, Quatzi says. He calls this the one great failure of his people. Dak tells Quatzi he will save the Hork-Bajir, and in doing so he will save the Arn as well. After all, the Yeerks will be coming for them next.
Quatzi doesn't seem bothered enough, if I'm honest. I added the little shrugged bit, but in the text he does shrugged. He's like, what can we do? We have no weapons. He's like, listen, you heard us tell you our story about how we couldn't build a suitable spacecraft. What do you expect us to do? Suddenly pivot from genetic engineering into weapons manufacturing? We can't do it.
I think
it can't be done.
He had been waiting for such a long time just to show someone the slideshow he made. And now he can die. He's like, what do I have to live for? Who am I going to show the slideshow to?
The way in which he was like, I'm not going to explain anything till we get to my PowerPoint was just like, it's like, I really have it all in the slide deck. I don't want to start talking about it now because you're going to ask a stupid question.
That's going to be answered. Like, if you saw the presentation, you'd understand.
And it's so funny because the secret rooms of the Arn never come up again. And we get this one secret room that he just keeps his slides. I think it's not the Arn's secret room. I think it's just Quatzi's secret room. And they describe these tubes running through it. And we never hear about what the tubes are for. It's just secret room
all the
tubes.
Bioengineering. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how secret this room is. They say it seems like a normal place at first, but as you go deeper, it gets weirder. So, like, maybe it's not as hidden as we think. I don't know. It does seem secret.
I don't know. So something that's hitting me about this is they're getting right into the smugness of, like, being like, we're this, like, advanced species of doing this, and we have this advanced technology, like, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. All of these species that we're talking about, the Yeerks, the Andalites, the Arn, they have no culture. And we've never seen we've never seen them at, like, a hoedown or anything like that. And the Hork-Bajir have that. And, you know, they have, like, the communication with the trees. It's like, I don't know, that's pretty cool. That seems like a good time. What I will say is if Quatzi and the others had some sort of dance that they did, this did happen in the 1960s, so it would have been appropriate to call it the Quatutsi.
Oh, the
Quatutsi.
Okay,
that was popping off at the time. If you remember the Batutsi, popularized by Adam West Batman, highly problematic and also just a wild piece of
I don't know
TV
why
history.
you chose to go with the Batuzi instead of just explaining what the Watuzi is. But
because I think the
truth is
really
silly
says
enough. Yeah, that's true. But the truth is silly enough by itself.
I just remember Cher saying in Burlesque, wagon wheel Watutsi, and that's my only context for that.
Yeah, dude, Cher's a legend.
She really is. The only other thing about, like, there's a lot in this chapter, right? So, like, we learn that they control everything. They genetically engineered the Hork-Bajir. I was going to say the only other thing, and I was like, no, let's sit with it for a minute.
Let's not gloss over that one. They kind of did something really fucked up.
And then they were like, well, we don't want to meet the help, right? It's like an upstairs, downstairs kind of situation, and the Hork-Bajir are downstairs servants. So they made the blue mist to create the zone of separation. You all know the zone of separation.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that's what they're referring
to keep them apart. And it's revealed here that they control the monsters in it. Mm-hmm. And that's wild to me.
Yeah, with their minds. Yeah. With their minds, but they don't seem to get any information back from the monsters because they didn't know that they had people crossing.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do you think it's just what, like a handful of orange jobs to like they're each assigned a monster, and they just think if you see a Hork-Bajir, kill it, and that's like all day. Like they have a shift, and that's it. That's
It could be like that, but it also could be a situation where they've like created like a subcommittee or maybe a corporation, like a Monsters Inc. That would take over that. God, you guys fucking. You don't laugh at my goals.
I was taking a sip of a drink. I'm sorry.
I thought you were in the middle of a
go
joke.
with it.
Did you
I
finish?
thought you were going with it.
Yeah, I thought you were.
I thought the bit was building. I'm sorry.
It didn't feel like we got to the punchline.
I was waiting for it to build. I was going to cut back in after my sippy. You gotta let a bitch take a sippy.
I'm sorry that my Monsters Inc. joke sullied your experience.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that redeemed it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You played the
That
long
redeemed
game
it.
there.
Yeah, I did.
Miranda, I think that the Arn anticipated that you would accuse them of this whole upstairs downstairs thing, which is why they put themselves lower in the valley. It's not. See, they flipped it. So I think
it's the flipping. It's where the gash is the father and the sky which sprinkles on you is the mother.
Dad, mom, and mom, dad.
Yeah.
Classic
inversions,
there's something with finding out that Dak is a seer because he was genetically modified. Well, no, it's a mistake that he is intelligent. Like it's something that they couldn't control. But it kind of feels like it. I went back and forth with this, like the rest of the book as we were rereading it. I can't tell if I feel like it takes away some. I mean, it definitely takes something away from Dak, but like he's not actually. I was hoping that maybe that the Hork-Bajir aren't actually stupid, but they're actually genetically designed to be stupid, and Dak is a mistake. So him being intelligent or like being able to learn all of these things doesn't actually reveal anything about the Hork-Bajir as a people because he's actually fundamentally different from them. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think I do because like I think a more satisfying answer would have been like all Hork-Bajir have this capability, but it's been suppressed in them.
Yes. Yeah.
And 1 in 10,000 Hork-Bajir don't have it suppressed.
Yes.
But instead, we get all the Hork-Bajir are actually stupid, and 1 in 10,000 isn't. But I think it would have been much more meaningful if it was 1 in 10,000 Hork-Bajir are living up to the actual potential of the Hork-Bajir that's been suppressed by their oppressors.
Yes. I also thought maybe a twist where you find out that the seer is actually a different Hork-Bajir. And Dak, they believe that he's a seer because he seems to be intelligent, but he's just, that it's not this mistake. It's actually that he's just learned. Do you know what I mean? Like he's actually just.
That he somehow broke through, like that the programming is weakening or something like that. Yeah. That he's like breaking through it.
Yeah.
I also I was just thinking, just now actually, it hit me for the first time that if they couldn't breed out this bundle of genes, that to me seems to indicate that they didn't start from zero on this species. This was a species that existed that they turned into the Hork-Bajir.
There's a lot of boilerplate when it comes to making a little guy. I mean, you gotta have the little arms, you gotta have the little legs.
But like, I don't know. It was just, I thought they made them.
Oh, they did?
From scratch, in a way. Well, it seems to me that if they did, then why would this genetic anomaly exist? Why would it... He says,
we're talking about an edge case. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
But he says we never could. You're one of the smart ones. We never could entirely eradicate that one bundle of genes. So that could have been in a manipulation scenario.
Yeah. So I think this is like, and we should put a disclaimer here, being like, all of this sucks because the history of biology and medicine sucks, and the history of racism and all of everything sucks.
Yes, very much so. This is very eugenics-y talk.
It's right. This is unfun talk, and it sounds more like a CRISPR situation. Than it does but CRISPR is also problematic I'm not saying it's not problematic.
You're saying this wasn't like they had test Hork-Bajir that they bred for generations and generations.
Well, you know what? I tell you what, the whole thing doesn't make a ton of sense because it's like they gotta have some matter on which to act, right? Like conservation of energy. It's not like, so it's like, I don't know, man. None of this makes a ton of sense at all, period.
They fed Shadoos into the machine, rewrote their genes until they were Hork-Bajir. Right. This is the Shadoo shredder.
Yeah.
It poops out Hork-Bajir.
I also wonder, are they... I feel like they must have some way of watching or keeping an eye on the Hork-Bajir. They can't be totally disconnected from them, but it sure seems like they are. But you would think there would be like... Arn checkups with the Hork-Bajir or something.
It doesn't make a ton of sense, right? Like, it's like they're so depressed from having lost their entire society and their culture. And there's like maybe like this is the only way I can spin it. There's like 1/1000, maybe even less than that, of what used to be of the Arn. And the Arn used to be on this planet. And then they say, like, but the Arn never developed the ability to stop an asteroid from coming. But they can terraform the entire planet.
Right.
Like, and that is like
that civilization thing where they put their skills
where you put your points.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. It's like, I don't care if you like biology. I don't care if you like this. Sometimes you got to stop a rock from hitting you. Like,
but sometimes you don't know you're going to have to do that until it's too late.
Yeah.
I also just love how...
That said, they do say in the book that they watched it for a really long time.
Yeah.
They're like, worried about that comet. Just like the last book. Worried about that comet.
Chekhov's comet.
Yeah. I also, I really like that they are so worried about this divide between them and the Hork-Bajir. And then the fact that Quatzinnikon's whole response when... Aldrea and Dak come through and demand to know more is just him going, the balance, but what about, you ruin everything. And then he's like, okay, come watch my clip show. Like,
all right, come on.
It just, they give in really quickly, so.
Well, he made the slideshow, right?
Yes.
He's supposed to say no at first, but then he's like, well, I did have to make the slideshow.
That's a really good fucking point. Who is that slideshow for? Who did he make that slide deck for? Is it like every seer comes down and he like opens seer.powerpoint?
Yeah.
I just want to be clear for any listeners who have not read, there is no slideshow. He just takes them into a room and shows them the equipment they use.
Yes.
But like...
No, and he brings up a picture of the plant. Yeah. No, he doesn't.
No, he does. You're right. You're right.
That happens.
But it's a picture of the planet. It's not like a Hork-Bajir specific slideshow.
I'm seeing a lot of star wipes.
Yeah.
That's true. A lot of dissolves.
Reminded me a lot of the Chi
work.
It's every time a new species has to reveal a backstory, there's some kind of presentation that happens.
Yes, very much so.
The Elemist.
I got so excited at work. They were like, Chris, you can do a knowledge share. You should write a thing about a work ticket you did that you want to share what you learned. And then I was like, okay, like, where do you want me to do it? And they were like, you can do it in Confluence, which is essentially like just a bulleted list you move through. And I was like, you're telling me you're giving me the floor and I can't do Comic Sans, I can't do fonts, I can't do jokes, I can't do fart sounds.
I can't make the slide flip off the screen. I can't
Well, and I flipped off them. That's when I flipped them off and told them I'm not doing your stupid knowledge share. And that's when they told me they'd pay me less. So let's do the next chapter.
Well, one little tiny thing. When I started that whole thing and I said I had one other thing I wanted to say, at the end of it, when they threaten him, Aldrea's like, wow, you're getting good at this whole ruthlessness thing. And he's like, yeah, I've had a very good teacher.
Learned it from watching you, bud.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't acknowledge that the Andalites were ruthless, so I have to, she's like, the Yeerks really are good examples, huh? But it's another instance of her knowing she knows, he knows she's lying.
Yes.
And she does it anyway.
Yeah.
She's
stubborn.
She is a habitual underestimator of Doc.
But she seems like she knows that he's hinting at that, and she still won't own up to it. And I'm like, get your shit together, Aldrea. All right, that's my piece.
Well, and you're making me want to point out one small detail, which is the idea to get the monsters together to fight. I think you said this in the thing, but it's no small thing.
No.
Doc is the one who's like,
he figures it out.
You need the Hork-Bajir. you created the monsters, like, let us do and he has that synthesis. The fact that he was so effective at bargaining was a very cool moment for Doc.
Yeah.
And it was very...
Yeah.
He gets a lot of them.
Cool.
And he's the one who, like, she figures out the trees, but he figures out that if they had just made the monsters and let them free, they wouldn't just stay in the blue mist, so they must be controlling them somehow.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So teach us how you do that. Like, because they're like, the Arn are not going to fight for you, and also we wouldn't be good fighters anyway. He's like, you know what would be? Monsters.
Yep. Yeah.
I imagine the Arn as like little diamond kites. Like that's how
Are
I
they
imagine
cute
them
or
with
no?
like 4 little legs, and you could tie a little string to their belly and just throw them up and start
go,
running.
Well, we
go,
learned that the
but then they sail
Yeerks
way
do
up.
that later. They just do that so that they can shoot at them.
I guess they use them for target
practice.
That's all the way back to book 1. Jesus, everybody's calling shit back.
All right, chapter 22.
Let's go. Esplin is undercover as a Hork-Bajir, and boy, things are sure going great. Turns out it's not that hard to pretend you're a Hork-Bajir. I mean, you can basically kidnap the host right in front of the other Hork-Bajir. Once Esplin infested them, all he had to do was walk back out and say, "I'm back, guys! I am so back!" And everyone went, "You are so back." And it says it right here in the text. The other Hork-Bajir just responded, "You are back. You are so back." No follow-up questions, nothing. They passed him a Miller High Life. This whole taking over the galaxy thing, Esplin started to think it's not going to be very difficult. The very first Hork-Bajir that Esplin approached told him that Dak was the name of the Hork-Bajir that made contact with the Andalites. So if Esplin found this Dak guy, he would lead him to the surviving Andalite, Aldrea. Piece of cake. Until Esplin finds her, they'll just keep yerking the Hork-Bajir around. Get this, the Hork-Bajir... Get this, the Hork-Bajir even had this gigantic hollow tree that they used to communicate with each other that was basically begging to be turned into a big Yeerk pool. The Yeerks just had to, knock it over and burn away the bark. Goodbye, tree phone. Hello, Olympic-sized Yeerk pool. But then Aldrea and Dak showed up with a bunch of horrific monsters to ruin the party. Seeing Aldrea like that, so small but so dangerous, he finds her to be beautiful. One day he says he'll live inside her head, rent-free. Then he'll tell her how he felt seeing her in this moment. Wow. Weird ender sentence. No offense.
No, it is kind of how it ends. He's like, someday when she was my host he's like, I'm going to recount this whole thing to her. it's I feel for Esplin, I really do. He wanted his first infiltration mission to be a bit more of a challenge. He's a go-getter. He really wanted it to be a bit more difficult, but they just gave up all the information very easily. He was like, "Hey, do you guys know who was talking to the Andalites?" And they were like, "I don't know what a fucking Andalite is, but Dak was talking to the weird guys, and his friend is Jigeel." And Jigeel was like, "Oh yeah, Dak he had a weird friend. Her name was Aldrea. She kept talking about being the daughter of Prince Zero. Like that fucking meant something."
It is consistent with him. He is an artist in search of an audience, and the Hork-Bajir don't appreciate him, and they don't even give him a challenge. They give him nothing to work with. They just repeat back to him what he says, and it's He's
like, "I am whatever my name is." Yes,
it's
you are
the
that
first
person.
thing they teach you in an improv course, though. Like even before yes and, they're like, remember, you can always just say
it
the
back.
thing the person just said.
Turn it into
like
a question.
If you're ever panicking,
yes, no. They call it yes, no, and. Just yes.
Yes. Hold on, let's try it. Miranda, hit me with something.
I'm running out of time to fix my space computer before the whole world explodes.
I'm running out of time to fix the space computer before the whole world explodes. Yes, you are doing that.
I need help.
I need to help you.
Yeah.
You need my help.
I do.
This is and scene. All right.
Yeah, that's why he wants to kill them all. Oh, well, infest them all.
Yeah, this is why we're not on Dropout. You guys.
Yeah, no, it's just like,
This is
look,
the-
you can get us invited if you want. I don't know that they're
yeah.
going to take us. We're going to try.
I'm gonna try. Gonna try so hard.
What do we
I haven't
think
been
about-
applying. I don't know how to apply.
What do we think of Fet Masher?
I think it's a fucking hot name.
Esplin. You think
And it sounds like a fucking wild kink as well. Like, I want to mash this.
Fet Masher?
Fets are a thing in electronics.
I don't know. I don't remember Fet Mashar very much. I wasn't calling him Fet Masher.
No,
I
it's
can tell you
probably
that.
his
Which
Fet
one is he?
Mashar.
Where is he?
He's just the name of the person that V3
Oh, that
took
he
over.
that he took
That
over.
Esplin took
Oh, that's why I don't remember. He was probably a pretty chill dude before now.
I bet.
and that's why when he came back, everyone was like, "It's that chill guy."
Hey, that's fat.
Yeah.
Do you think Esplin?
You can
Fat
always
life,
bet on
if
fat.
you will.
They say
No,
fat.
okay.
Do you think he asks for the backstory? They're like,
Insurance company? Is that where you're going?
Yeah, no, FetLife is the world's largest BDSM kink and fetish community.
Oh shit! Okay,
it does
sorry.
sound like
Is
a
there
bank or an
also-
insurance company.
Yes, MetLife is an insurance company. Yeah.
Okay,
Which I never realized that was probably the pun that they were.
That is definitely.
Can you
the
lead me to
pun.
the Fet Life building? And that's
I'm looking for FetLife Tower downtown.
It's just as big a mix-up as when my friend took in her cats with fleas into the Veterans Affairs building. She was like, I want you to know my cats have never had fleas. I don't know how this happened. And they're like, that's great. Have you ever been in the army?
Do you think that when Esplin receives his host, he asks for a backstory or a motivation?
Oh, so that's what the kids are called.
Probably, yeah. He's probably he gets a snapshot of their life. So he knows that, but he's like, I want to know in your words,
Yeah.
what's your motivation? You know what I mean? What drives you?
Yeah. One thing that just seems kind of cool is not only is he's so thirsty,
It's true.
but he goes to great lengths to describe how irony gets him hot.
It's true.
And I just think that's you know what? I like that for him. That's very theatrical.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
you know?
we should not undersell how insidious his attraction to Aldrea. It feels it's maybe the creepiest Visser 3 moment so far.
Oh, it's
not great.
Extremely disturbing.
It's not great, but the fact that he's more into it because her dad yearned for peace, I love that for him.
That's the part that really makes it he's really just writing his Wikipedia page right now.
He's like, her dad set me free on the universe by wishing for peace, and now I would not only fight her in battle, I would become her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, but also I want to say, he talks about how small she looks, but he knows she's dangerous. And I think that he sees himself in her in more ways than one here. Because he is small, but he is dangerous if given the proper tools. And I think he envies the Andalites for being given the proper tools from the get-go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's his whole thing. He's like, I'm small, but given the tools, I could be more dangerous than anyone else. And yet I was born to this race that has so few tools, except this ability to invest walking knives. You know what I mean? Whatever will I do?
I like this thing that you wrote about how the I am back, yes, you are back ritual could be a very deep spiritual thing, and I really
Right.
like that. I think we should start that. It's you wake up in the morning, walk downstairs, see someone, and it's I am back.
I have survived the night. Well, so you wrote one of your things was I am back, and the Hork-Bajir would say yes you are back, and you said this is spooky, and so it was I am back and yes you are back are very close to literal translations of what the Japanese say when they return somewhere. They're I am here now,
Right.
and the person says you have returned, and
Yeah.
it's a traditional greeting.
We do
and
that in English too. I mean, people say, "Oh my God, you're here."
Or just
I am.
welcome, or just welcome back. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's I'm home, welcome home. But if you think back, probably in human history too, but in Hork-Bajir history, you could have been taken by Father Deep. So saying I am back, they're yes, you are back. You have not been taken this day. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it could be deeper. It could be a sign of their culture that they do this, not just that they state the obvious. You know what I mean? It could be a ritual greeting, not just a statement of fact.
It also has a little bit
Yeah.
of when two guards in a stealth game, when they're on their routes and then they walk up to each other And then they're like,
How are the kids? They're fine.
yeah, but it's the same voice actor in a lot of games. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm great. You sicko! Like they kind of like get into like a fight or something. Like it doesn't the conversation doesn't really flow correctly, and it kind of has that kind of like scripted.
It feels stilted. Yeah.
I guess I'm thinking of Oblivion specifically because Santiago's playing it right now.
Well, do you know about Oblivion? Do you know the secret?
No.
Okay, will be real quick. The secret of Oblivion is that the actors were all given their lines to read in alphabetical order.
Oh.
So they had no idea what line followed what. They
Why
went
it
down
has that
the
tone.
list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's
That
so
is
funny.
not the
has this-
traditional way of doing it.
That's crazy town. I think in my head I hear it like it's from the book song, the unanimated description of Mr. Maps, where it's like, we'd hoped to feel, like the narrator's like, we had hoped to feel a certain strong emotion, but this is all they had to say. I was the son of a man, and so we came together and we shook hands. We shook hands.
Yeah, wow.
Like, it's just... yeah.
Good stuff. It's good stuff.
All right. Shall we
Chapter
get
23?
to chapter 23? Let's do it.
All right. It's me. Learning to use the mind control techniques necessary to lead the Arn's monsters only took Aldrea and Dak 1 day. Once they corralled all of the monsters from across the valley, they had an army of about 100. Aldrea and Dak began to lead the army toward the Yeerk camp. Free Hork-Bajir hide and watch their march from the trees. Aldrea tells Dak he must encourage the Hork-Bajir to fight. You are a seer, she tells him. This is your moment. Sparkle on. Dak is reluctant to lead his people to violence. Still, he does his best, instructing them to follow, then watch and learn from the battle. Do as he does, Aldrea repeats to the Hork-Bajir. Do as he does. She tells Dak that once they are in battle, she will rush to the nearest ship in order to get a message out to her people. Dak must not hesitate to attack, Aldrea says. Even if the enemy looks like his people, they are not. They are Yeerks. Dak asks Aldrea if she has ever killed another Andalite. No, she says. Of course not. You ask me to kill my own people today, and lead my people in killing their brothers, Dak said. You say they are not Hork-Bajir, but Yeerks. But when the dead have given up their souls to Mother Sky, there will be Hork-Bajir bodies lying dead. These are my people who will die today. Be quiet, Andalite. Be quiet.
I love
Dak.
I love his
He's so
anger
cool.
here. And just how he slowly gets more comfortable over the book expressing it to her.
Yeah.
Especially in sort of alongside what you were describing. Miranda, what was the part before I was thinking of? Just like the way that she's keeping this these secrets from him, but she's also catching on to the fact that he knows she's lying to him or keeping
Right,
these
but she's
secrets.
keeping up the facade anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
and this is the moment where I feel like he's like, just stop. Just stop.
Yeah.
Just stop fucking around. Like,
Well, it's
you
critical,
haven't
too.
done this. I'm about to do this. Fuck off. Don't pretend
Yeah.
that this is comparable to anything that's ever happened to you.
Yeah.
What happened
Yeah.
to you is sad. What's happening to me is different and also very sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's going toe for toe the entire time. Like she's cutting him off, coming back in to argue more. So when he shuts her down and says,
Yeah.
like, these are my people who would die today, be quiet. He's really putting his foot down. That isn't like he got to do a big dramatic speech and then was like uncontested. Like he had to double down on his thing, which
No,
it's
yeah.
huge character growth.
It makes me think a little bit of so we've talked about how Aldrea is sort of a Rachel stand-in here. Is there a clear
Yeah.
I don't think there's an obvious one-to-one for Dak, right?
I don't know. Every relationship looks like relational and Tobias. Like it's like, but that's just because they're the two like weird mismatched species relationships, and
I would
he's the
say
one
in
listening
this-
to the story.
In this moment, Dak is actually filling a Cassie
I
role,
agree.
I would
That's what
say.
yeah.
If
Yeah.
you had to say, but he's also showing a prescience that Tobias sometimes shows, where he seems to understand the nature of certain things better than they do. Perhaps it is implied often by the book through his life as a predator, but like.
It could be a cool growth arc for Cassie, but I just haven't seen it yet. Like the responsibility of the role and sort of the acceptance of the leadership.
I
doesn't
agree.
really
I agree
resonate
with that. But I think
with
telling
her arc,
Aldrea, that she's not considering the cost of these lives fully is something that Cassie is on the line of doing.
I agree.
She's
Yeah,
like,
but-
we're not considering the full effect of what we're doing, but all like, you know what I mean?
I think
Tobias
the
just doesn't
texture is
have.
still different for me. I think like with Cassie, it's this more holistic a thing of like wanting some kind of acceptance of the universe being beautiful.
Oh,
whereas in this,
yes.
Like
They're
I
coming
think-
at it from totally different places. I'm just talking about the role that this exact moment is serving, and that's serving to tamp down,
I see
to
that.
temper
Yeah, yeah,
Aldrea's narrative that we need to do this by all means. Fuck the cost.
And I think the moral quality of Dak's tone is the thing that reminds me of Cassie too, because Tobias actually, I feel like there may have been a point where he had that, but it's actually sort of drifted, as Miranda, as like you're saying, with the whole predator prey thing. Like he doesn't actually have reservations about killing because he has that dynamic.
Yeah.
That dynamic is so central to his character now. And Dak does have this. It's not like a woo-woo nature thing like Cassie has sometimes, but it does have, they both have that kind of bringing morality to their arguments and having like this sense of like ethics, I guess.
Right. And that's just what he's doing right now. And he's not saying we can't do it, we won't do it. He's just saying like, if you're running in here happy to be killing things, consider the other things that are going on here.
But I think like his point doesn't feel like that to me. It actually feels far more pragmatic. Like it's like the way in which he's right here is not actually moral. It's just true. Like
that's fair.
It's like I think part of like it's like I don't know how to describe the difference that I'm going for there, but it's just not abstracted. I would not expect him to have a growth arc where he would understand this in other directions or necessarily be outside of himself.
No.
I see him as like very much so in this unique position. And I would not expect him to suddenly be like a UN ambassador or something like that.
No.
It's like, But that's the thing.
But
that's the thing about
I think it continues his personal narrative of realizing that people view his species as expendable.
Yeah.
Yes. I guess what I'm saying is that's the point, is he is survival minded, whereas like that's not the vibe that I was getting from Cassie up until very recently.
Fair. Well, but and like I said, this is just about what role he's playing vis-a-vis what roles the other Animorphs play.
Yeah, like I definitely
books.
agree that he's not a perfect Tobias graft, but I do think like if you look at what Tobias has accepted for survival, predator prey aside, like he is a bird who needs to survive. So that pragmatism comes from that.
Okay, yeah, I see the point you're making. I didn't realize you were saying this as a way of saying I view it more as a Tobias, not just an I don't view it as okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
And the thing that I do here that reminds me more of, I feel like I'm also just approaching this more of like it's more of like a tone or a flavor is what I'm thinking. But Tobias and Dak both have this intense tone of grief. I feel like Tobias has a grief resonance, and I feel like Dak absolutely, especially, I mean, more and more as we go through the books and he sees like the consequences of what have happened, it also has that kind of grief.
Yeah. He's like heartbroken by experience.
Yeah, and they also have the relationship between the othering that happens to both Tobias and Dak. It seems like that's the most obvious correlation to make, but I do think that both of them morph and shift throughout the book and aren't perfect one-to-one.
No, not at all.
Agreed.
Well,
which is why I started off joking about it being like,
Totally. I do think that Aldrea surprises me. Like, there is a type of character that K.A. Applegate likes to write, and it is the Rachel. There are, like, a lot more resonances between Rachel and Aldrea.
Like Laura, or was it Lauren or Laura?
Oh.
Who's in the...
Lauren, yeah.
Sorry, who?
Yeah.
Lauren, yeah.
Tobias'
Lauren
mom.
in the...
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they're all on the same softball team that Lauren was on.
Yeah. Right by that McDonald's.
The gender flipping with
right.
Loren.
Spelled
Loren.
weird. It was Loren. I was like,
Thank you.
something's wrong. You didn't say it wrong. I was like, something's wrong about that in my brain.
Yeah.
It was wrong in my brain too.
We missed the monster roll call, but I don't know that we actually.
I did. I gave a little. There was the Jubba Jubba, the Galalash, the Gorks, and the Lurdathek, and they get descriptions. But it's just there's a cool lineup of monsters. That's it.
Yeah, it's definitely a toy set that never got created.
Yep.
That's why I'm saying they should make this a movie.
Exactly. Yeah. This one is special.
Yep.
They call it Avatar.
Yeah.
All right. 24?
Chapter 24, yep. More and more Hork-Bajir follow Dak and Aldrea, chanting, "Do as he does." Dak admits that he must give Aldrea credit. She understands how to manipulate the Hork-Bajir. She's very clever. The Andalites are a clever species, just like the Yeerks, just like the Arn. All of them were using the Hork-Bajir for one thing or another. Even fighting the Yeerks, wasn't that just serving the Andalites? But what choice do the Hork-Bajir have? They reach the Yeerk encampment and attack. The Hork-Bajir join, Dak says, and then the final horror began. Not a great laugh to line while you read it.
No, it's not a real zinger.
Yeah.
It's startlingly bleak, though. I mean, him being like, this is the moment that is going to change my species forever into a species that can see itself as hurting other members. You know what I mean? Like, this is the last moment that the species will be innocent of that. And it's a lot.
Yeah.
It weighed on me heavily as I read this
Speaking
book.
of grief.
Yeah, it's super dark.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate how much the book lets you sit in. It feels very incremental, this journey that goes on internally with just, there's a feeling of inevitability to everything that happens here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also everything is legible from that speech that Dak gave in the last chapter where he is like, these are my people, blah, blah, blah. That's from Aldrea's account.
Yeah.
And that's just a very powerful thing to have in this book, where some of the strongest things that come from a character aren't even in chapters that they themselves are narrating.
Yeah.
Which I think just lends itself to the strength of this is the impression that Aldrea has been left with. And we have a similar thing here where he's really chewing on stuff and giving her credit and trying to see the Hork-Bajir through the trees, kind of we're doing this because we have to. I'm extremely uncomfortable. I'm making decisions extremely fast.
Yeah.
It's just all very emotionally legible and
we're
powerful.
doing what the Andalites want in the end, but also it's what we need to do. But so who isn't using us in this scenario? We just found out we were created. Well, I just found out we were created by the Arn to manage their trees.
Right.
Now I'm fighting the Yeerks, which I know is the Andalites' whole purpose, but we have to do it, otherwise we'll be infested.
Yeah.
And,
I think he also knows that they are fighting them not really having a chance. It's
I don't know.
You think that he feels...
I don't know about that. That one's weird.
I actually, the second I said right, I was feeling Miranda's thing as well, where it's
I don't know if he thinks it's impossible, but I don't know if I don't think that's even on his mind yet. Because what's on his mind now is what he's doing to his people, even if they win.
Yeah.
Even if they win, they can't go back to what they were. And I think that's something that weighs on him a lot. I think that you see moments of it, it's is it better?
Yeah.
Is it better for us to win this? And ultimately he decides yes, but it doesn't feel good what they have to do.
Yeah. You're right. The hopelessness might be coming from more what happens later, but I don't know that. I think that's right, that it feels more like that hasn't even really crossed his mind yet, because he's more focused on what he's doing to his own
all outcomes are bad. Is the thing.
Yeah.
The win in this case results in his people being irreparably damaged.
Yeah.
It's the whole slaves or killers thing again. My people will be slaves or killers.
Yeah.
From the
chief.
Earlier in the book. He talked about
he
it.
says that. Yeah.
And it's just that, again, where it's what do I want for my people? I don't want either of those things for them. And she's unhesitatingly, I would rather you be a killer. And he's I don't know, but he's like, I shouldn't be making this decision for my people, and yet I guess I am.
It does bring back, so that we get the kids, the main series books, kids grappling with violence and how that violence is, they're fighting to free their people. They're fighting just to stay alive. And that violence is changing them. You get the Chi, who, it's not even that they refuse to fight. They cannot, they are very powerful, sort of like the Hork-Bajir actually, but it's
beyond their programming.
It's beyond their programming. Right. Exactly. And now you have the Hork-Bajir, who also could be very powerful, but the violence that they're going to have to do to fight for their own survival is also going to destroy them in the process. Like, I don't know that is, I don't know that I expected that to become such a, like, I know this is a side book, but it's become so front and center to the series very quickly. And also that just surprises me how much that is like at the thematic center of this book, but also how quickly, like I think I thought we were going to spend the whole book series slowly having our sense of the Andalites changed. But in this book, they're being put alongside the Arn and the Yeerks as villains. Like they are antagonists in this book, I think. Like it's not.
And we're only 20 books into the whole arc.
Yeah. Yeah. And
like 20-ish.
That just really, it's kind of remarkable how naturally that switch has happened. And I don't know, I feel like the Andalites are going to still feel like they felt in earlier books when we go back to the main series books. But for us following the chronology of these books, like this is the sense we're going to carry forward. Yeah. Should we move on?
Yeah, let's do it. Aldrea reaches an Andalite ship. Oh, right, that's her big thing. She wants to call home. She's like E.T.
Yeah.
Aldrea reaches an Andalite ship and begins to call her people for help. As she begins to make the transmission, she imagines how she will look to the Andalite officer who answers. Wild from her time stranded on the Hork-Bajir planet, young, female, Aldrea reminds us that the Andalite military is almost entirely male. Just as she begins to record her message, a Hork-Bajir controller attempts to sneak up on her from behind. And not just any controller, but Esplin himself. He strikes Aldrea to her knees and then pins her to the console with his clawed foot. Esplin doesn't want to kill her, he says. I want to make you my host. I will be the first Andalite controller ever. I will have complete access to your every secret, to all the scientific and technical knowledge you possess. See, I've studied you, Andalites. I admire you. Wow, how flattering. Esplin turns his attention to the Andalite ship, powering up the shredders to use against the army of monsters. He's knocked the wind out of Aldrea, but that doesn't stop her from morphing. She begins to change into a Jubba Jubba and then grabs Esplin with the monster's enormous hand. Aldrea squeezes Esplin until he stops squirming, but stops short of killing him. Andalites are not monsters, she said, tossing Esplin out of the ship.
Carefully.
Gently.
Be careful, watch it. Aldrea demorphs, then returns to her transmission. An arrogant Andalite answers her call. She begins to tell him what happened to her family. The officer does not care. The death of Prince Zero is hardly a priority message. He begins to reprimand Aldrea for using this channel, but we gotta keep the line clear. But she interrupts him. Maybe this will be important enough for you, Aldrea says. The fucking Yeerks are here.
Little bastards.
This was another thing that reminded me of, I'm just remembering that when I mentioned the Rachel thing, this reminded me of Rachel when Aldrea is having this like kind of awful interaction with Esplin, where it's just like the violation of...
A little bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit bad.
Yeah.
It's not the best. It's not the best.
Just like the like tone of like violation to everything that he's saying to her.
It's not the threat of death, it's what else he can do to her.
Yeah. And just the fact that the line, I will have complete access to your every secret. Like, it's just a destruction of like selfhood too, and privacy.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's really scary.
Yeah.
It's really scary.
Yeah. And then it passes really quickly because she just morphs into a Jubba Jubba, and
it does. Yeah, that'll solve a lot of your problems, actually.
Yeah.
If you could just morph into a Jubba Jubba, we'd have a lot of... And yet, I think back to Rachel choosing to partially morph into an elephant to get a guy to leave her alone. Yep. You know what I mean? Yep. Like, it all...
Yeah.
It all circles back. It's all that same narrative of the female characters are unsafe in a way that the male characters are not unsafe. Right. Not that they're not all at threat of death at every moment.
No.
But the moment she realizes he's not going to kill her is like sort of the most terrifying moment of the scene.
Yeah.
Although she views it as a chance to maybe do something. She's like, maybe I can turn the tables. And I love that.
There's also something,
like,
for me, the blocking of which I don't feel like the books always pay so much attention to, but the way that he strikes her, she falls to her knees, is on the console, and then he's pinning her there. Like, it's just so... We understand exactly where she is in space, and it's the embodiedness of it. Like, it just made it feel like...
No, you're totally right.
I really felt like the backhand kind of that not Zero, what's his name? Esplin gave, like, there. Like, it just felt like...
Oh, yeah.
I do wonder... If Aldrea is this book's Rachel, does that mean that Zero, in his fate, could tell us something about Dan the Weatherman? I think it has to, right? Like, I think we've unlocked
Hurricane Dan, man. I mean, she had a good relationship with her mother, you know? That was her Naomi.
Yes.
And Dan...
Yeah, but Naomi has a name.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the difference is that Naomi has a name. You're right.
Yeah.
Maybe we were always supposed to project Naomi on top of Aldrea's mother, but we weren't supposed to project Dan on top of Zero.
Yeah.
I also love that she's like, we are not beasts, as she says, as she didn't kill him in the beginning, like in the middle of a fight that she charged into, shouting, kill!
Yeah, I feel like if this moment was, we see how much Dak is being changed by Aldrea. I feel like if we were given a little bit more of a clear indication that, like, maybe if in that moment she's thinking of Zero, I mean, it doesn't really, like, it still doesn't feel quite right that Aldrea would flip like this so suddenly. But
I think it's a simple matter of, and it's something we're going to see in the next chapter, and it's that she has the idea that she wants to kill the Yeerks, and then she is not ready for the reality.
Yeah.
And I think that segues very nicely into chapter 26.
Let's do it. Take us out.
Dak watches the monsters of the Blue Mist fall in combat. He watches his people do as he did, attacking the Hork-Bajir controllers. This is the first battle of his people, the first time any Hork-Bajir had killed another. The parked ship that Aldrea had fled within turns to face where Dak stands atop the Nawen tree that has been repurposed as a Yeerk pool. She thought speaks to him, telling him to move aside, and then fires at it so that the contents spill out onto the battlefield. Helpless Yeerks are everywhere. Jagil, Dak's childhood friend, gives an order of his own, his very first. Kill them, he cries. The other Hork-Bajir listen to Jagil. They begin stomping the writhing Yeerks. The monsters in our valley were destroyed that day. Only a very few survived. But that was all right, because we didn't need monsters anymore. We had become them, Dak says.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy. Like, they see, there's a moment where, like, they see him, like, fucking kick the shit out of another Hork-Bajir, and they see it, and then they're like, oh yeah, like, we're killing now. And then when they see the Yeerk slugs, they're like, kill them. And they just stomp them dead. And Aldrea is horrified.
It's one of the most, successfully visceral descriptions. Like, the closest they've tried to get to carnage of this level, I feel like they always shy away. Like when Eric saves them, but we pass out and don't have to witness it. Yeah. It's, there's always like a Hobbit moment where Bilbo's like, I'm going to take a nap behind this rock while this battle rages on.
Yeah.
And this is actually like, we saw this whole battle beat for beat, and like, it's actually just more disturbing on a whole than a lot of the Animorph. Like, a lot of the Animorph battles we've seen have been more like tiny little conflict or skirmishes.
Well, there's only so many of them, There's only the 6.
This is like even in the Andalite Chronicles, when they were running away and the Taxons were happening, we didn't really linger much on what was happening in the streets with the Taxons in a way that in this one it's like we're actually inheriting that baggage. Like, the Taxons were always a bit more disposable, even though we like learned that they, like, I don't know, something about them isn't as that the books don't empathize with them as much. We've much to our chagrin.
I think a lot of it just has to be the abstraction that not having any human characters like this feels like more clearly in the realm of sci-fi, because there's no, like, in the main series books we have human kids running around,
or even fantasy. These are like not creatures that you really.
That gives them the license, kind of, to... Especially
the slugs. And yet, this whole book, they've been giving us a perspective of one of those slugs. And then they're like, yeah, we just stomped a bunch of them to death. And like, Dak is also a little horrified, but he also recognizes that it's why they came here. And so Aldrea being like disgusted by it, and like she won't look at him, her face changes color, and like she's like, we have to leave, we have to go. And I'm like, this just like, it's like I said, she wouldn't kill Esplin because she had the clear upper hand. And it's like, I think she will only kill in retaliation. And yet Esplin had attacked her. So I don't see what her whole holdup was on not being willing to kill him.
Yeah.
But she just won't do it. She's never done it. And it turns her stomach. And I think that's what we see here is like, this is the explanation for why she didn't kill Esplin last chapter.
Yeah.
Like, it's like Dakami, more like dark.
Darkami. It's
that
very
doesn't
dark.
work, though. It's very bleak-kami. No, that's
Damn it,
even worse.
Jim, I'm a Dakami, not a Kill-hami.
I took the Hork-Bajir oath. I can't.
Thanks for listening to Anidorks. We'll be back soon with lots more to say. Until the Andalites return, or at least until next time. See you soon!